Good morning, everybody. It's still morning, right? Yes. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity today to be here to talk in front of you and to kind of just explain a little bit about me and who I am and why I'm running for this seat. The new District 8, as all of us are in new legislative districts based on how the Commission drew it, is a great district here in Sacramento County. It's not in Sacramento proper in the city, but it's in the communities of Arden Arcade, Carmichael, North Highlands, Citrus Heights, Rancho Cordova, Gold River, Rancho Marietta, Wilton, Harold Vineyard, and Rosemont. So it's a very large area that kind of goes from that Placer County line down to the San Joaquin County line. But it is a great district. It's one that I've actually lived in my entire life. It's a district that I am very proud to say that that has raised me in a very good way. I was born and raised in the community of Carmichael, went to a local high school here called Jesuit High School, and went to Sac State for my undergraduate work and to the University of Southern California for my master's in public administration. I've been a former small business owner in Carmichael, and I've also served as chief of staff to Congressman Dan Lundgren. So I've had the opportunity to work both in Washington, D.C. and here in our district office, working at some of the highest of levels, doing some of the most important things that our country has to do, which is actually talk about legislation, pass policy, and focus on solutions. So last year, after they redrew the lines, my wife and I actually, or my wife did, I didn't, but my wife gave birth to our daughter, Victoria, and that kind of changed a lot for me. It made me have to start thinking a little bit differently. I've always been involved in public service, but all of a sudden I was responsible for this beautiful little daughter, for this little girl. And my wife and I kind of looked down and we realized we have a huge blessing. My parents live in Carmichael. They live 5 minutes away from me. My in-laws, this is the good and bad blessing, live 5 minutes away from me. So we have this opportunity to have this family network that's with us all the time, whenever we need it. That network is so important. And I'm looking at this tiny little girl and looking, and kind of, you start to realize you're thinking about her future now, not necessarily yours. And you realize in 18 years, 22 years, when she's either out of high school or college, what kind of California is she going to live in? What opportunities are going to be there for her? Can California be her home? And more specifically, if she wanted to make Carmichael, where her family is, her home, will there be those opportunities? And that's where my wife and I really kind of sat and prayed and realized, you know, we need to actually work on changing California. We don't have the confidence right now that there's going to be opportunities for her that when she graduates high school or college, that she will have a job, that she'll be able to actually say, yes, I will make this my home. The reality is as Californians, there are certain things that unite us, more than that divides us. But we need to focus on those priorities. And from my perspective, when I'm out there talking to constituents in this district, it's jobs, it's education, and it's public safety. When those three things work together, and they're working well, California thrives. And so I think that it is our obligation as legislators to actually go to that state capitol and work on those solutions. That is what I'm hoping to do. That is why I want to run and represent this district. You know, I've always been one who's involved in my community. When I was 20 years old, I got on the park board in Carmichael because I didn't like the way the parks were running. Actually, we hadn't had a new park in Carmichael in 50 years. And I felt that as we were having new generations come in, like myself, my future family, we needed more opportunities for recreation and for parks. People need those opportunities, those services. So I got on the park board. Within 8 years, we built 2 new parks. We didn't raise taxes, we built up a healthy reserve, and we actually approved a master plan that had 4 more parks. 3 of those 4 have now come online since I left the board. I'm thrilled to say that my daughter, after she was born, we were able to walk the first weekend to one of those new parks. And so those are the types of opportunities that we can have when we're actually working together as government to work on real solutions, to focus on our community, to focus on what it is that we can do better as a state. And so that's what I hope to do in the state legislature, is to be able to actually be that voice, be that person who comes. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, we need to be talking about how we move this state forward. And that is what I hope to do, that is my intention. And so thank you very much for giving me that opportunity today to talk to you about what my vision is and what my intent is as a potential legislator. Thank you.
Question for Mr.
Thank you, Peter. I guess in light of the discussion that former Supreme Court Justice Cruz Nelson pointed out in support of Prop 31, could you talk about, given the fact that you are running for the state assembly, what are your thoughts on Proposition 31?
Proposition 31 actually does a couple things that I fully support. One of those is the 2-year budget cycle. I think actually being able to have a 2-year budget cycle where we're constantly as a legislator working, I agree with him 100%. One of the problems that I've seen as a legislative body, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, again, we're not doing our job for oversight. We're not doing our job to actually understand how we're spending our money. A 2-year budget cycle would give us the opportunity to actually spend more time doing oversight, which is absolutely critical. When you think about our Constitution, we talk about co-equal branches of government. And when the legislative body doesn't do the oversight of the executive branch or the administrative branch and those agencies, it's actually yielding part of its responsibility and part of its power, if you will, of being a co-equal branch. And so, I do think that we need to have those opportunities, and I think Prop 31 talks a lot about how we can actually make some of those reforms and make them a reality and give us as legislators more opportunity to work. The only problem with Prop 31 is it doesn't mandate we work. But I think there are opportunities where we actually can make an effort and make a difference. So from my perspective, I like the 2-year budget cycle. The only other concerns I have, there are a couple silos, if you will, that are listed out there, more, if you will, special funds that force House spending is made and take away more decisions away from the legislature, if you will. One of the things that I think when you live in a republic, we elect representatives to make decisions for us. And when we tie their hands to the point where they're not actually able to make those decisions, then it makes it that much harder when we're looking at doing cuts, or it makes it that much harder when we're looking at how we come to solutions. So I am concerned about those things. I have yet to actually make up my full mind on Proposition 31. I'm not listening to the ads on television or radio because I don't think those really teach me much. I actually do take the time to read through and read the rebuttals and the arguments that are in there from pro and con. But as I said, right now I am leaning towards a lot of positives that I've seen in Prop 31.
We have a question right here.
Sure.